You felt it, did you not? That strange pull towards someone you barely know, the way their name lingers in your mind long after the conversation has ended, the way their voice echoes in the silence of your own thoughts. Ever wondered why she cannot get some men out of her head? It is not about looks. It is not even about money. It is about how that man makes her feel when he is not around. He becomes a thought that lingers, a scent that does not fade, a voice that echoes in silence. And the truth that most men never learn is how to plant that seed in a woman's mind. But today, you will. There are 6 deep psychological triggers that make a woman think about you non-stop. Pay attention, because this is not about chasing her. It is about becoming unforgettable. The philosopher Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, observed that the mind is never right but when it is at peace. And the man who can create that peace in her mind, even in his absence, is the man she will never forget. The first trigger is unpredictability, the power of mystery. What keeps a woman thinking about a man long after he is gone is uncertainty. That little gap between what she knows and what she wants to know. Most men kill attraction by being too predictable. They text at the same time every day, say the same compliments, repeat the same dry jokes, and after a while, she knows exactly what is coming. And when she knows what is coming, her brain switches off because there is no excitement in something you can already predict. But when you bring unpredictability, that tiny bit of emotional chaos, she starts thinking, what is he doing right now? Why did he not text today? Why does he seem different lately? The brain loves questions it cannot answer, and women especially are emotionally wired to find meaning in uncertainty. When you give her something to think about, she starts to attach that emotion to you. The philosopher Epictetus taught that no great thing is created suddenly. And unpredictability is not about being erratic or confusing. It is about being a person who cannot be fully figured out in one conversation. It is about having depth, having layers, having a presence that cannot be reduced to a simple pattern. Now, do not confuse unpredictability with games. It is not about being distant or rude. It is about rhythm. It is skipping that good morning text once in a while. It is saying something that makes her pause, something thoughtful, not rehearsed. It is breaking patterns just enough to make her wonder, who is this guy really? Because once she starts wondering, she starts remembering. People remember how you make them feel, not what you say. So when you mix calm with spontaneity, silence with surprise, it is like music. You create a mental loop that plays over and over in her head. Think of it like this. Every predictable guy becomes background noise, but the unpredictable man becomes the melody. He is not trying too hard. He is just real. He does not beg for attention. He draws it naturally because she never knows what is next. And when she does not know what is next, she keeps replaying what already happened. That is how attraction becomes obsession. Softly, silently. So stop being the guy who is always available, always explaining himself, always reaching out first. Instead, become the man who keeps her guessing in a peaceful way. Steady, but not simple. Let her feel like you are both close and far, open yet slightly unknown. That is how you stay in her thoughts, not as a text on her phone, but as a mystery she cannot decode. The psychologist Carl Jung, who explored the depths of the human psyche, wrote that the meeting of 2 personalities is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. When you bring unpredictability into the interaction, you are creating a reaction. You are transforming the dynamic from predictable to compelling. And that transformation is what keeps her thinking about you. The second trigger is leaving mystery in your words. Words are powerful, but silence is what makes words echo. When a man tells a woman everything, there is nothing left for her imagination to play with, and that is where most men mess up. They talk too much, they over-explain, they remove all the air between words. But when you speak just enough and leave a little mystery behind, you give her something far more addictive than attention. You give her curiosity. Here is a truth few understand. Curiosity is emotional glue. When someone is curious about you, their mind keeps returning to fill the blanks. That is how memories form, not from what is clear, but from what is incomplete. The philosopher Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature, and it is human nature to seek understanding, to fill the gaps, to complete the picture. When you leave mystery in your words, you are giving her something to seek. So next time you are talking to her, do not narrate your whole life story. Drop hints. Instead of saying, "I went to dinner with my friends," say, "Last night was one of those nights that leaves you thinking about life differently." And then stop. Do not explain. Do not expand. Just let the silence breathe. You will notice it. Her eyes narrow a little. Her tone shifts. She leans in because her mind needs to complete the picture. You have given her nothing concrete, only emotion. And emotion demands closure. That is how you stay in her head. Even in texting, less is often more. You do not need essays. A few words that feel intentional can do far more than paragraphs of attention-seeking messages. Here is the secret. When you say less, she starts saying more to herself. She starts building her own version of you in her mind, and that is when you become emotionally magnetic. Learn to speak with intention, not to fill silence, but to shape it. Be playful with your pauses. Be mysterious with your tone. Make your conversations feel like an unfinished story, one she needs to finish. That is how you get her thinking about you when you are not even there, because every unanswered question becomes a thought. Every thought becomes an emotion, and every emotion becomes attachment. Mystery is not about pretending. It is about holding parts of yourself sacred. Let her earn your story piece by piece. And when she does, she will value it more than anything you could have just given away. The philosopher Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher who profoundly influenced Epictetus, wrote that we should not use our words to command, but to persuade and to teach. And the greatest persuasion is not about convincing someone of your worth. It is about creating a space where they discover it for themselves. When you leave mystery in your words, you are creating that space. You are inviting her to discover you, piece by piece. And that discovery is what makes you unforgettable. The third trigger is creating emotional high points. If you want a woman to think about you non-stop, make her feel something that interrupts her emotional pattern. It could be laughter, curiosity, calm, or even tension. But it has to be real. Here is how it works. The brain does not replay neutral moments. It replays emotional spikes, the highs, the lows, the surprises. So if your interactions with her always feel the same, you fade into the background like everyone else. Think about your favorite movie. You do not remember every scene. You remember the moments that hit you. Attraction works the same way. So stop trying to be perfect. Be memorable. Make her laugh unexpectedly. Disagree gently when it matters. Compliment her in a way no one else does. Not about her looks, but her energy. Say things like, "You have this calm chaos in you. Like your mind is loud, but your face stays soft." That kind of line is not scripted. It is felt. And that is the point. You are not trying to impress. You are trying to connect. When you create emotional highs, she starts associating those feelings with you. When she is smiling alone later, she is not just remembering your face. She is remembering how you made her feel. And if you do it right, she will replay that feeling over and over. The philosopher Epictetus reminded us that we should not be upset by what we do not have, but rejoice in what we do. When you create emotional highs, you are giving her something to rejoice in. You are giving her a moment of genuine connection that she will carry with her. The trick is balance. Do not always make her laugh. Do not always be deep. Let your energy shift naturally. Give her a mix of light and depth, fun and mystery, humor and silence. Because women remember contrast, not comfort. You want to be the man who can make her laugh, but also make her quiet, make her curious, then calm her down. That emotional range is what separates a man she likes from a man she feels. So create moments that have weight, moments that cannot be copied or repeated. That is what stays in her mind long after you have gone silent. The philosopher Cleanthes, who succeeded Zeno as the head of the Stoic school, wrote that the fates guide the willing, but drag the unwilling. When you are willing to create emotional high points, when you are willing to be real and present, you are guided toward deeper connection. When you are unwilling, when you play it safe and stay neutral, you are dragged into forgettable mediocrity. The fourth trigger is having a life bigger than her. Let us be honest. No woman truly falls for a man whose entire life revolves around her. She might enjoy the attention for a while, but she will not respect it. When a man's purpose fades, so does his presence. But when you are focused on something meaningful, a project, a goal, a dream. You radiate a kind of energy that draws her in naturally. Women are instinctively drawn to purpose. They can feel when a man has direction. It is in the way he moves, talks, plans his days. There is calm in his confidence because his attention is not scattered. It is rooted. When you become that man, she does not just think about you because you are charming. She thinks about you because she admires you. Do not make her your mission. Let her witness your mission. Let her see your discipline, your silence, your drive. Show her that you do not need her validation. You are already building something real. Because here is the thing. Attraction built on validation fades fast, but attraction built on respect lasts. You can still care. You can still love, but your world should not stop spinning because of her absence. That quiet confidence, that is what keeps her thinking about you when she is away. Because when a woman sees a man who is at peace without her, something shifts inside her. It triggers curiosity, admiration, and desire all at once. She starts wondering, why does he not need me the way others do? And the more she wonders, the more she thinks. So do not chase, build. Do not prove, improve. When you stand on purpose, you do not need to be remembered. You cannot be forgotten. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. When you have a life bigger than her, you are exercising power over your own mind. You are not letting her attention control your purpose. And that power is deeply attractive. The fifth trigger is mastering the art of absence. Here is a truth that most men are too scared to face. Your presence means nothing if your absence has no weight. When you are always available, she gets used to you. She stops wondering. But when you pull back, not out of anger, but intention, she starts to miss you. It is human psychology. We value what feels scarce. We think about what we cannot have easily. And in that silence, her mind starts searching for you. Maybe she opens your chat window just to see if you are online. Maybe she replays a conversation in her head. Maybe she smiles at a random memory of you and does not even know why. That is the power of absence. But here is where it gets tricky. Absence only works when your presence had meaning. If you gave her emotional highs, mystery, and calm energy before stepping back, she will feel that silence. So do not announce it. Do not say, I am giving you space. Just go quiet. Focus on your life. Live. Grow. When she notices your energy is not chasing her anymore, it triggers something deep. It makes her wonder if she is losing you. And that is when she starts missing you. Absence creates gravity. It pulls thoughts towards you. Not because you are gone, but because your presence used to feel different. So do not rush to fill silence. Let it speak. When she starts thinking about you without your effort, that is not manipulation. That is energy. That is balance. Because the man who can walk away calmly is the one she keeps running back to in her mind. The philosopher Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. When you waste your presence by being always available, you are wasting the opportunity to create longing. But when you master absence, you create a space that she will want to fill. The sixth trigger is making her feel deeply understood. There is something powerful about feeling seen, not looked at, not admired, but understood. And that is the one thing most women crave even more than attention. When a man truly understands her, not just what she says, but what she means, he becomes unforgettable. Most men listen to reply, but the kind of man she remembers listens to feel. He notices the tone behind her words. He catches the silence between her sentences. He remembers small things, how her voice changes when she talks about her dreams, or how she hides her emotions behind a half smile when something hurts. When a woman feels understood, it hits something deep inside her, a place that most people never reach. Because truthfully, most people do not see her. They just see what they want from her. So when you become the man who listens not to fix, but to understand, you create an emotional safety she cannot forget. You do not have to say much. Sometimes silence says it all. It is the nods, the calm energy, the patience. Those small things make her heart rest. Ask her real questions, not surface ones like, how was your day? Ask what she felt during her day. Ask what she is passionate about, what scares her, what keeps her awake at night. And when she answers, do not rush, do not judge, just be there. Because once she realizes that your presence makes her feel more herself, you will become her favorite thought. When she is alone, her mind will drift to that feeling, that peace, that safety, that emotional recognition. She will think about how rare it is to be understood like that. And here is the beautiful irony. You do not get remembered by trying too hard to impress her. You get remembered by giving her space to be real. The philosopher Hierocles, a Stoic who wrote extensively on ethics, observed that we should approach others as we would approach ourselves, with patience and understanding. When you approach her with patience and understanding, when you listen without judgment, you are treating her the way you would want to be treated, and that creates a bond that is hard to break. Attraction built on looks fades. Attraction built on understanding lasts, because when a woman feels emotionally understood, her guard lowers. And when that happens, you do not just enter her thoughts, you live there. So next time you talk to her, remember it is not about clever words, it is about emotional awareness. When she says, "I am fine," and you pause before responding, that pause tells her you care. That is connection. That is emotional intelligence. And once you create that kind of connection, she will not just think about you, she will feel you. The philosopher Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher, wrote that we should not use our words to command, but to persuade and to teach. When you listen with the intention to understand, you are persuading her through your presence. You are teaching her that she is safe with you. And that safety is what makes her return to you in her thoughts. The final mindset shift is becoming the man she cannot forget. Let us be real. All the steps we talked about do not work if your energy is not right. Because attraction is not built on tricks, it is built on presence. Most men chase, they overthink, they overact, they overgive, and all it does is create pressure. But the man who knows his value does not need to chase. He does not need to prove anything. He walks with calmness. He talks with intention. He is kind but not desperate. He is confident but not arrogant. This kind of man does not fight for attention. He receives it because his energy is grounded in something deeper, self-respect. That is what women notice first. Even if they do not say it, they can feel when a man is emotionally full and when he is running on empty. The key is to live in abundance, not of money or women, but of energy. When you stop needing validation, you become magnetic. When you stop forcing conversations, you start attracting them. And when you stop chasing love, you start becoming love. It is funny, the moment you stop trying to make her think about you. That is usually when she does, because your energy shifts from "please notice me" to "I am at peace whether you do or not." And that peace is rare. That calm confidence makes her feel safe and curious at the same time. That is the secret. Energy before action. Who you are internally shapes how she feels around you. So stop chasing her mind. Start mastering your own. Become the kind of man who has purpose but not pressure, desire but not dependency, presence but not panic. When you walk in that energy, you will not need to make her think about you. She just will, because the calmest men leave the deepest marks. Let us recap what makes a woman think about you non-stop. Be unpredictable. Keep your rhythm alive. Leave mystery in your words. Give her thoughts to replay. Create emotional high points. Let her feel something real. Have a purpose bigger than her. Let her admire, not pity. Master the art of absence. Let silence work in your favor. Make her feel deeply understood, and she will never forget you. The philosopher Epictetus taught that no great thing is created suddenly, and the kind of presence that makes a woman think about you non-stop is no exception. It is built through the accumulation of small choices, each one building on the last. Each time you choose unpredictability over predictability, you build that presence. Each time you choose mystery over over-explanation, you build that presence. Each time you create an emotional high point, you build that presence. And as you build it, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes part of your presence. And that presence is what will draw others to you. It is not about tricks or techniques. It is about becoming the kind of man who naturally creates curiosity, who naturally generates tension, who naturally makes women wonder. That is the real secret. That is what keeps her thinking about you at 2 in the morning. Not the guy who texted her good morning every day. The guy who made her feel something. The guy who left her wondering. The guy who was present when he was with her and fully engaged in his own life when he was not. That is the man she cannot get out of her head. Become that man. If you found value in this video, hit that like button and subscribe to Echoes of Stoicism, because this space is not just about dating, it is about emotional intelligence, self-mastery, and deep human psychology. Drop a comment below. Which of these steps hit you the hardest? Which one will you practice starting today? And remember, attraction is not about playing games, it is about energy. When you understand energy, you stop chasing love, and love starts chasing you. Stay grounded, stay real, and I will see you in the next one.